Good morning. Happy Wednesday. We are in Hebrews chapter 12, and we are looking at this set of admonitions. There are four of them. They roll out a bit as like advice to us in light of the things that have happened. There's a big therefore that starts chapter 12. So in light of everything, in light of who Jesus is, all of that we've been over, there are things that we need to do. And we sort of get two in each of these, sort of a couplet in each of these four admonitions. Verse 12, we looked at a couple days ago, strengthen your tired hands and make straight paths for your feet. We talked about the need to stay the course, to walk in the path. I talked about evil and freedom as two things that we often misunderstand. Yesterday, we looked at verse 14. Pursue peace with everyone and holiness. And so peace, I said, this is a big word, especially in Hebrew, but also in Greek. It's a big word that we are to go out of our way to get along with others. And this is a point that gets made in other passages. Solomon makes it in Proverbs, Paul in Romans 12, right? To the extent possible, live at peace with all people. And the imperative tense of the verb here, of this construction here, suggests this is a command and that it's hard and that we cannot give up on this. We have to stay at it, of pursuing peace and holiness. Holiness is growing in faith, growing in Christ-likeness. All the fruit of the Spirit that we lean into and we allow Him to ripen in our life. Now, verse 15, it's the third C to it. And by the way, the word that's used here, make sure that no one falls short of the grace of God. Make sure that that's sort of the overview of this whole section. It's an interesting term. It's a derivation of the word episkopos, from which we get our word episcopal. It means oversight. So we translate it bishop or overseer. And so we are to be an overseer. We're to have some position of influence. Make sure that no one falls short of the grace of God, and that no root of bitterness springs up, causing trouble and defiling many. So the call to make sure that no one misses the grace of God sure seems like a call to share the gospel, to be an evangelist. And I think that I think this is something that many people shy away from, but we have the privilege. We actually have a mandate. We have been commissioned to go and to share the gospel. The construction there is, as we are sharing the gospel, as we are talking to others about Christ, we need to make disciples. The implication is that how could we not, once we understand what we have, once we understand grace, and once we understand who Christ is, how could we not share this with other people? And so I have, there's a shift. There's often shifts in terms of how people receive and respond to this. I think we're undergoing a shift and have been for the last few years. And increasingly society is more secular and more pagan and more pluralistic and less Christian. We're sort of in more of a post-Christian moment. And C.S. Lewis said that you court a widow differently than you court a virgin. Sort of antiquated language written over 60 years ago. But what he was saying is, if we're going to an area where Christianity, the church, has sort of been tried and discarded by many, which is increasingly the case here, then that's a widow. We need to approach that kind of an area differently than we might an area that had never heard about Christ. And so I think that calls on us to, I love this bless model that we have been talking about. The B stands for begin with prayer, the L stands for listen, the E stands for eat, spending time with, the S stands for serve, and the other S stands for share. So I think that bless model is a great one, great way to think about things. And right now, it also, the other part of this is to let no root of bitterness spring up. Not certain who we're talking about, if it's in our own life or just in the lives of others, but bitterness is obviously a bad word, and root suggests, entrenched, subterranean kind of thing. We don't want a root of bitterness. I'm guessing, I'm recording this on Tuesday, but I don't know that there's results of the election out yet as you're listening to this, maybe, but I'm pretty certain there's going to be a lot of bitter people. Just don't know who, but there's a lot of people that are going to be very upset with the results of the election. And so they may be bitter. Maybe you. You do not want to let a root of bitterness take hold, right? That poisons your heart and it makes you hard. And so we want to be people who are focusing on the grace of God, this unmerited gift and favor, and to be much more forgiving as we move forward. So there's a lot here, but these 6 minutes go quickly, and we will pick up the fourth and final admonition tomorrow.